Hi everyone and welcome to Club 5 episode 4 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So we've got half a dozen games left to play of our first half season in the Championship. We took over with Watford in December, so we're approaching the run-in, and I think we've pretty much guaranteed promotion to the Premier League already. Today we play Nottingham Forest. Can we get 3 points and absolutely secure that spot? Let's find out. Welcome back to Watford. So yeah, we've done pretty well. Since you and I were together last, where we got that unfortunate loss to Leeds, they may now go on and win the Championship title. That is a probability, I guess, at this point with half a dozen games to play. But since then, we've been on a 3-game winning streak, haven't conceded a goal, and now we face Nottingham Forest at home. If we go and look in on the competition page itself, into the Championship, you'll see we do sit in second. We're 1 point behind Leeds, so it's still possible we could jump over them and win the title. But I'm not so worried about that. I'm more worried about, can we absolutely guarantee automatic promotion to the Premier League at this point? And I think we can. We're 11 points clear with still 18 points to claim for the rest of the season. If we were to win another 3 points today and get to 14 points with 15 points left to play for, I think we're almost pretty much secured our position, because I don't think the likes of Sunderland and Swansea will be able to take enough points, and we would have to lose pretty much all the rest of our games. And I don't see that happening at the moment. So I think Premier League is almost a guarantee for us next season, which is brilliant. But we've got to finish off this season. So we're going to be playing Nottingham Forest, 9th position Nottingham Forest. Tricky side. They're a decent club, aren't they, Forest? They've been down in the sort of the Championship area for quite a long time now. Potentially they've got the size of club that would maybe merit a chance in the Premier League at some point if they could figure out exactly how to set their squad right for it. But for today's match, they're going to be a little bit of a tricky one. If we go back briefly to our schedule page, you'll see that we've got the likes of Hull, Cardiff, Coventry, Palace and Reading still to play after today's match. We'll be coming back next episode to play the Reading game, the last game of the season, and just see where we end up, whether we can take Leeds or not, or whether they will win the title or not. So that's the plan for the next couple of episodes. But for today, it's all about Forest. Can we find a way to continue our run at the top, continue to open that gap up on the teams directly below us, and maybe, just maybe, put in a little bit of pressure on Leeds United at the same time? Let's see how we get on. So the only player that's out of the starting lineup that's my choice, that's not my choice, should I say, is Kamara, my holding midfield player. Usually plays in the middle of our midfield three here. He's just needs a little bit of a rest. He's played a lot of games this season, has reached that point where he just needs a bit of a break. So we're going to give him one, because ultimately we've got a lot of points to play with here in terms of our promotion to the Premier League. So Jackson comes in for him. Other than that, if there are any changes in the lineup, it's absolutely my choice, just in terms of how players are playing. And for example, I'm still a little bit underwhelmed by, not this guy, Foulon. He's come into the club in January. He just hasn't quite hit the ground running as much as I'd like. I thought he would bring a little bit of experience with him and a little bit of sort of stability, but it just hasn't really happened for him. He's done okay. If we actually click in on him, he's played, how many games has he played for me now? He's played 11 matches for me, no goals. You wouldn't expect that from a fullback. But when we're playing a narrow formation where our fullbacks provide the width, you'd expect a couple of more assists than he's got. He's only got 1 assist in those 11 games. And putting in the crosses is one of the key things that we work on. So for a 6.9 average rating, not been as good as I hoped he would be. But that's just one of those things. So today we go with this guy instead, James White, 22-year-old Canadian that we've got in the squad. He's got some big gaps in his attributes in terms of his technicals, but his mentals and physicals are excellent. He's got great tackling as well, so at least he's got that side of the game. So we'll give him a run out today. The only other change that's really happened is in this attacking midfield role. I have recently been using the likes of Torres, Facundo Torres, but ultimately he's done very well for me, don't get me wrong, but he is recognised as just a squad player. And if we go and have a look at Vieira, who plays today, you can see he's recognised as a star player. And there's not too much to choose from them. I think Vieira is the better of the players, but Torres was playing very, very well. But I don't want to upset Vieira at this point of the season when he is supposed to be a star player. So we brought him back in the last game or so, and he has been scoring goals for us, so which is really fantastic. He's been, in the last couple of games, the main goal scorer. So that's worked out for me. Other than that, it's pretty much as we have been since I came into the club, really, and it settled down after the January transfer window. So for the game against Forest, we go with Mamardashvili in goal, Mendes at right back, White at left back, Collins and Ryan in central defence, Douglas Jackson and Mosquera in central midfield, Vieira in that shadow striker role with Alzate and Scarlett ahead of him. And on the bench, we have Omaragic, Foulon, Giabi, Nakai, Torres, Paredes, and Romero. Romero. Easy for me to say. Anyway, let's get into today's game and see what happens. So in terms of team talk, it's just a day for relaxation, really. I've used the gesture of hands in the pockets just so it's not confrontation in any way. And I've just said to them, go out there, relax, play your natural game, and the result will come. And whatever happens, we've got a lot of points to play with here, but I do want to keep that pressure up on Leeds. But I don't think there's any point in really trying to rile up the players to do it. I feel like it's best to just keep them on an even keel and keep them moving forward in the vein that we have been recently, because the form has been pretty good over the last few games. So a few minutes in, we've had a couple of shots, but none on target. One highlight of a corner kick that came in that went over the top of the bar. And now at 15 minutes, it's kind of gone a little bit quiet. It doesn't feel like there's any particular excitement in the game so far, but that kind of suits us just at the moment. Let's just keep it on an even keel, keep playing the ball well, trying to keep possession as much as we can, and try and get them to chase shadows a little bit and wear them down. Later in the game, maybe we'll be able to pick them off. Who knows? But we do have a highlight here at 29 minutes. We're on the ball. We've worked it through the lines of central midfield. And eventually, we get the shot on goal past the goalkeeper and into the back of the net from Dane Scarlett. It was a really good move right down the centre of the pitch. Some good movement through the lines. Alzate drops in and gets involved in the play from that second striker position, and eventually jinks past one defender and then pokes the ball through for the on-running Scarlett to get on the end of it, and he slots it home past the goalkeeper. Highlight straight off the kickoff for Nottingham Forest at this point. Can we win the ball and put more pressure on them, or are they going to create a chance for themselves just on the 30-minute mark, just literally after we've scored our goal? They've worked the ball nicely to keep it. They've worked it down on that right-hand side. Now they charge at the penalty box down the right-hand side. It was a really, really wide cross. We win the ball momentarily off that header in the defence, but they win the ball in midfield again and come back at us. They have their strike at goal, but fortunately the goalkeeper comes out and closes down the space enough to get something on it, and then the defender can clear the ball. So we just about survived that one. Good movement from Forest, good ball movement, should I say, specifically. And eventually, goalkeeper for us doing a really fantastic job. 43 minutes on the clock. We've got a couple of minutes to play just to get through to half-time. And there is the half-time whistle. Not too bad. We've got a 1-0 lead. We've had a couple more shots at goal than they've, but there aren't many shots in the game. They've had a little bit more percentage of possession. And you can see by the expected goals rating, the XG rating, that neither side have done particularly well in front of goal so far. But we have our lead, and it's something that now we can try and hold on to. So we'll just go outstretched arms. I'm happy with the performance. Keep it up, because largely I am, because we're winning the game more than anything else. And if we need to put a rocket up them in this second half, we can always do that from the shouts from the sidelines at some point if need be. Forest have started the second half with a kickoff and a highlight at kickoff, and they've worked a chance and they've scored a goal within 28 seconds. Well, that team talk went very well, didn't it, at half-time? Forest have obviously read the riot act at half-time a little bit and come out much more motivated than potentially we were. We came out and just dilly-dallied around a little bit, and ultimately they managed to get the ball through to Gordon, who cut in off that left-hand side, got into the penalty box, took an earlier shot than maybe we expected him to, and it goes into the bottom corner of the goal. Goalkeeper doesn't really do too much with that to try and stop it. And they go back to 1-1. So we've got a little bit of an issue here, potential momentum shift in the game. And there really is now. There's a second opportunity in the second half for Forest. Fortunately for us, our goalkeeper works well and claims the ball and then clears the ball up the pitch. We retain possession in our midfield area currently. Can we work a chance for ourselves? Douglas pushed slightly wide and gets the ball in and clears everybody. Mosquera has to go and retrieve the ball on this left-hand side, cut it back into midfield for us. And we're keeping the ball nicely. Can we find a way to break them down? Alzate again through to Vieira, and he gets through on goal, but the goalkeeper again comes out and closes the space and parries it away for a corner kick on the far side. Vieira with the corner, puts the ball into that near post, and it was Ryan that got ahead of, up above everybody else, put the header at goal, but it just went over the top of the bar, unfortunately. But at least we've had a couple of chances just to break the momentum that Forest were beginning to build. We had the ball briefly, we've given it away and won it back again in midfield, which is good. Douglas on the ball into Alzate again. Mendes, the right fullback, there to aid on the right-hand side, gets a chance for crossing in. And was there a little bit of a hold on Scarlett? It felt like there might have been, but the ref didn't give it. Forest have cleared the ball up pitch and retained possession up there as well. They've held on to that ball very nicely. Great challenge by one of our defenders there, but Forest still come back at us and still have the ball. And they've worked another chance, and it was a very, very narrow chance. Unfortunately for us, they were offside. It didn't go in the goal anyway. It hit the post and came back out, but it was quite a close call. At 66 minutes on the clock, we're going to pause the game and go and make a couple of changes. We just feel like the game is drifting away from us a little bit at 1-1. Again, we've got another issue with our left fullback. Whichever one we play, plays really badly. Apparently, he's got a lot of energy. I'm going to have to take off some of these players that haven't got so much energy at the moment. So he's a little bit lucky because he's only got a 6.5. And that's not great, but there's lots of tired players around. So we're going to have to change the other fullback, I think. And I'm going to put Omar Rajic down that right-hand side. Just more of a defensive fullback down on that right-hand side because Mendes was out on his feet, really. We've got several players like that. Mosquera is another one that gets through a lot of work in midfield. I feel like I'm going to have to take him out and just get some energy in midfield by Giabi coming in there. And then we've got one more that we can make. We could either make another central midfield change, or we could take out Alzate, who's playing really well, but is tired as well. It's a tricky one, really. I think we're going to take Douglas out and put Nakai in, down in that central midfield area. Just get that real energy levels back into midfield and see if that can propel us forward. Once we do that, and we press play on the game again, we're going to wait for the shouts to come back up as an option, and then we are absolutely going to try and push them forward, fire them up for the last sort of 25 minutes of the game. Another highlight very quickly before we can really properly make our changes. Mosquera on the ball just before he comes off, drops it off to White on this left-hand side, gets the ball back again. Jackson supporting the play from the holding midfield player plays, and Douglas making the run through from that Metzala role. One of the two players in midfield that we're going to be bringing off in a second, but we get a highlight. He gets a goal for us. That's going to be his last act of the game. I am going to continue to make the changes because I feel like the energy levels in midfield are necessary now to hold on to what we've got. But that was a really lovely move, again, through the centre point of the pitch. And Douglas running in from that Metzala role. We're going to confirm the changes. Then we're going to go into the shouts. And instead of firing up now, we're going to praise them because we've managed to get that 2-1 lead. Forest on the ball, 68 minutes on the clock. Can we be defensively solid enough to keep them out for the rest of this game. Good headed clearance. Alzate wins it for us. That loose ball drops it into Omaragic. And then we go over the top for Scarlett to chase onto, and he hits the crossbar. And that was a really big chance for us to go 3-1 up and properly put this game to bed, really. And we didn't quite manage it. He did all the right things until that last little bit on the shot and just put it against the crossbar rather than in the back of the net. Forest again on the ball, but again we win it in that defensive area, doing some good, solid defensive work, but we lose it as we try and bring it forward, and they've countered us again, and they've got another goal again, and that was a little bit of an error in possession just as we were moving forward. We did some good defensive work, and then our ball retention wasn't good enough. Alzate was given the ball, but he was under a lot of pressure when he was given the ball, and they won it back very easily, really, and then countered very quickly over the top. Morton gets a decent strike off the top of the penalty box, and they go back to 2-2. So we're going to go back into the shouts, and now we are going to fire them up. We're going to change the mentality from positive to attacking. And then we're going to go into the tactics, and we're just going to raise the tempo a little bit. And let's shoot on sight and see if we can get a few more shots away. Not going to change too much more than that. Just a couple of little minor changes. Raise the tempo, get to the top of the area, have a few shots at goal. See if we can cause some pressure on their goalkeeper. But of course, now with about 12 minutes to play when we made that change, we're going to get nothing for the rest of the game and no more highlights. You watch. And we aren't. 87 minutes on the clock. Time is ticking by. It's going to be another frustrating game, really. We haven't won it. Again, this the curse of the episodes. Between games, they look really great. And then I come to an episode, and it just flounders a little bit. But you can see all the way through the centre of our team, there were 7+ average ratings for all of our players, pretty much through the centre point of the team. Maybe let down by the wide areas a little bit in the fullback positions today. Douglas, of course, we add into that as another 7.2 who we took off partway through the game through fitness issues. But, I mean, we had 15 shots at goal, 7 on target to their 10 and 6. Our XG rating was better than theirs. Possession was a little bit lower than theirs, but I don't mind that so much. It's kind of more what you do with it. What we did with it today was create the chances and not quite convert enough to then be able to be secure enough at the back. Little bit of a disappointing result. We do have the points to play with, though, remember, in the table currently. Let's go and check out how everybody else got on this particular match day. Well, this is a bit of a turn up for the books, really. When we got our 2-2 draw, it was a little bit of a disappointing game week for us, wasn't it? Not as disappointing as Leeds United was, though. They got beaten 2-1 by Blackpool. Now, that puts us equal on points with them, 85 points each. But we go above them in the table due to a superior goal difference. So now, even though it was a disappointing performance from us, really, today against Forest, we find ourselves back at the top of the table. Now, the likes of Swansea and Sunderland might be closing the gap in a little bit behind us. I'm not too worried about that, really. I don't think we're going to lose enough points for them to get back at us. It's purely a straight shootout for the title between us and Leeds. And there we go. We got the advantage, even though we were not at our best. And that's pretty fantastic, I would suggest. So straight back into the schedule. We're going to remind you exactly what we've got left for this particular season. It's now 5 games to play. Hull, Cardiff, Coventry, Palace. And then you and I will be back for next episode for Reading at home, just to see if we could potentially clinch the championship title on our way up to the Premier League. That's going to do it for today. It was a really disappointing game in a lot of ways. I think attacking-wise, we did pretty well here and there. But defensively, there were 1 or 2 moments where we probably should have done a little bit better. And Forest got a very creditable 2-2 draw away from home from their perspective. But fortunately, Leeds messed up even more than we did. And so we find ourselves at the top of the table. But as I say, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a fantastic week yourself, and the weekend is moments away for us all as we release this video at 6:30 in the evening UK time. So I hope you have a brilliant weekend. We're going to be back next week to finish off this season and start a new one in the Premier League, I hope, with Watford. So that'll be fantastic. Come and check me out over on Twitch every weekday afternoon, 3 till 5 p.m. UK time. Until next time, though, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by more people. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.